On this week's episode of The Video Store, Josh makes Frank his Batman servant while Frank takes the color out of space, screaming Dolemite to society with a loaded weapon in the Lighthouse. And Josh is the king of Lake Mungo while falling on a demon, getting arrested by the Paradise PD while a girl walks home alone at night with a parasite.
9 out of 10. 9 out of 10. Welcome to the Video Store podcast. We're here to review movies, TV shows, and everything else that we've watched and look ahead at what's streaming on demand, out for rental, and in theaters. My name is Frank.
My name is not Paul's Josh.
Yeah, you like that pause? That pregnant pause?
My name is Frank.
Thanks for joining me, Josh.
You're welcome.
Let's start this episode off with some thoughts and trailers. Up first is this new TV series called The Servant.
Spelled oddly.
Yes, Servant, S-E-R-V-A-N-T. This is the latest from M. Night Shyamalan. And unfortunately, it's an Apple Plus show, exclusive series.
What does that even mean? You can only watch it on like iPhones?
It's exclusively on their streaming service. So Apple Plus and Disney Plus are coming out later this year, I believe. I honestly haven't been keeping track of those two things because I am not in any mood to add another streaming service.
I know. I can only deal with paying for 3 but only watching 1.
Yeah, that's the way to do it. If you're doing it any other way, you're doing it wrong.
That's damn right.
And of course, the library ones that we'll probably talk about later. But it's interesting. I'm, in the beginning of this year on the podcast, I watched almost all of the Shyamalan movies. I'm a big fan of his stuff. I really loved Glass. I like that he has like a bankroll, self-made, and he can do whatever he wants. Just sucks that it's on this exclusive platform. It's described on IMDb as a young and troubled couple replace their newborn baby with a creepy lifelike doll after the former dies from health complications. So That's some weird shit. And we know M. Night is not afraid to dip into awkward things. And I hope that you can just eventually buy this stuff standalone. It reminded me, too, of... it's the Battle Rat movie from last year. I just lost the name.
Body,
that we both like. It's like Forever in Purgatory, stuck on YouTube Premium, which was another streaming service that fortunately flopped, but I haven't seen any physical release of it. Like, you can't buy it digitally, which I think is stupid.
All right, so here's what we do, people. So we just don't buy any of these other fucking services, and eventually he's going to be like pissed that no one watched his shit, and he's going to sell it to something like Netflix, and we'll be fine.
Yeah.
Just give it time.
For sure. And then also, I feel like this isn't getting as much hype as Marvel movies or other big blockbusters, but more Batman casting news. I'm excited that Andy Serkis is going to play Alfred. That has been confirmed. And then now they're trying to court Colin Farrell, another actor that I really like, to play the Penguin.
They're going to court him
to play the Penguin, which is very interesting. I don't know if he will be like the like the bowling pin shaped guy, like picture like Danny DeVito is. Who I picked. Or
is he going to be more of an do they know, is this somewhat origin-ish story? Like, what timeline is this set in?
I don't know. I mean, I'm just excited for it. I just only hear the casting stuff because it's unavoidable. I don't really want to know too much because I'm already going to see the Batman.
I'm going to see the Batman. I would like to know what time frame it's set in, to help put some perspective and understanding what these characters might look like. Similar to like Gotham, where you would see these characters more from an origin standpoint and develop into the people we know to love and hate and what have you.
True. So that's out there. I don't know about you. I'm excited about all the casting so far. Robert Pattinson, I'll talk about him in our What We Watched this week. And I also rewatched Good Time, which, you can listen to previous episodes. That was a great movie. I like Robert Pattinson a lot. And
just don't listen to the last 20 minutes.
Yeah, sorry about that. Sorry about that dead air. And then someone's probably saying, all of this is dead air. But I'm excited about that. Also, a new trailer hit for a movie I'm very excited for. It's H.P. Lovecraft's Color Out of Space. It's directed by Richard Stanley and starring Nicolas Cage. And I was told this news came out of the pre-production of this film shortly after Mandy hit VOD and rental. And people that I know and trust were like, if you thought Mandy was wild, wait till you see this team up. So I'm super excited. I kind of go with the strategy of ignoring most of Nicolas Cage's current work, but when it's weird enough, similar to Travolta, but with higher expectations, I get excited for certain ones. Yeah,
than Travolta for sure. I think Travolta at this point has so much plastic in his face. The ability to express an emotion is just so minimal.
Yeah, it seems like Nicolas Cage is at least trying to express something artistic.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's his therapy right there. He just get on set, Nick, and just screams out shit, and then screams die. You know how he screams die? Anytime you hear die.
Yeah, he brings energy at least, and Travolta does not. But for some reason,
Travolta brings snack cakes.
He brings snack.
Hey guys, I brought snack cakes.
He probably does. Cut, Johnny. We got to reshoot that. Your Twinkie wrapper was picked up in the mic. You got to take that out of your jacket.
Hey, we eat Twinkies in the 5 boroughs.
Yeah. Yeah, this is another recommendation to see Gotti. Watch Gotti. It's such an experience.
Gotti is high.
Yeah, so I'm excited for those three things. I know, Josh, you've been dealing with some work stuff and some headache stuff, so you haven't watched as much.
Don't tell people about my life.
They'll connect with you as a host, and they'll listen to the podcast. Yeah. He's a bad boy. They're just going to want to connect with you more. The more you resist, the more they're going to want to.
So let me tell you about my dream last night.
But let's transition ever so smoothly to the next segment, which is what we watched this week. TW. First one we both watched. It's a Netflix exclusive. It's called Dolemite Is My Name.
Dolemite.
Yeah. Described on IMDb as Eddie Murphy portraying the real-life legend Rudy Ray Moore, a comedian and rap pioneer who proved naysayers wrong when his hilarious, obscene kung fu fighting alter ego Dolemite became a 1970s blaxploitation phenomenon. This is directed by Craig Brewer, who did Hustle and Flow, Black Snake Moan, that I love both of those movies. And now this one, and it really is hopefully a beginning of a comeback for Eddie Murphy. I thought he was excellent in this. It's follows a familiar format. If you watch any music biopics, kind of follows that, but it's loaded with talent. I thought it was a lot of fun. It was a real easy watch. If we can go down the list on the cast: Keegan-Michael Key, Michael Epps, Mike Epps.
Wait, stop, back the fuck.
Keegan-Michael Key.
Thank you.
I try to run through them too fast.
Some of my favorite comedians. They might listen to this in the rare blue moon when it just comes on next, and they're like, "What the fuck is garbage?"
Apologies to Keegan-Michael Key, Mike Epps, Craig Robinson, of course Snoop Dogg's in it. Wesley Snipes was great. I loved his character.
He was so ridiculous.
Yeah. But I thought this one was a lot of fun, and it had more of an edge to it than a lot of the recent biopics, or Netflix biopics especially. I thought this.
And let's not forget white people. There was Bob Odenkirk, I think, was in there.
Bob Odenkirk was in there, yeah, playing like a fair but like somewhat charming like businessman. He was like a record exec.
Yeah,
he had hit somewhat of a heart.
We passed on you once. Don't make us regret it, or some shit.
Yeah, but what do you think, man? I thought this was a lot of fun. I was laughing throughout. It was a really heartfelt, feel-good movie full of talented people.
Okay, yeah. So you're like, what do you think? You're like, I thought. Yeah. I was like,
agree, disagree?
No, super agree. I think it was a fun watch. If you have never seen Dolemite, this kind of gets you hyped for that, and you're like, I really want to check out Dolemite now. I think Eddie Murphy really embodied the spirit of Rudy Ray Moore and this down-on-his-luck guy, and just held on to this role and fell really easily into it, and with sincere effort and heart that, actors at his age, some people, as we were just talking, phone things in, and some people don't. They use their name. They don't. Some people still have a passion for the art. You can tell he still has a passion to make people laugh, to, enjoy making a movie like that, about making a movie in a sense. So super fun, as you said, loaded characters, all with little funny portraying roles. It's just a fun time, and has a lot of heart in it, I think.
Agreed. It definitely felt like a passion project, and Eddie Murphy is someone that has touched many generations with his work, and is very talented. And I think it's almost like a foolproof plan if you're an entertainer, at least in America. Just go away for a while, and people will miss you so much. Look at the Renaissance Keanu Reeves is enjoying, But yeah,
right. And he didn't even really do that much, to be honest. Initially, it was like, as far as his acting, it was more of an action star slash, heartthrob in a lot of movies. It wasn't, he had a different point. Yeah. Not to say Keanu Reeves isn't awesome and an amazing person, just his acting roles. I don't know if he's won any Oscars or ever been nominated.
Yeah, but they both have their fastball. Like what they do good, they can still do it at a top level. Yeah,
for sure.
So yeah, definitely recommend. Sounds like from both of us on
Dolemite
is Dolemite. Yeah, great ending too. Like great movie. Up next, I saw this one solo. It's a 1989 comedy horror movie called Society. Have you ever heard of this?
I've heard of Society and its horrible ways, but no.
So it's definitely commentary on class system and rich people culture in late 80s America. This is about an ordinary teenage boy discovers his family is part of a gruesome orgy cult for the social elite. And you have this very paranoid teen who has a lot of things going for him. He's like, he's got the leather jacket. He's a jock, but like things don't sit well. Life is too easy for him. And he suspects that his sister and his parents have this incestuous relationship and are part of this cult. And the movie is not as smart as it wants to be. It doesn't fully grasp the topics that it wants to bring up. And the acting is pretty bad, but it has a charm to it. And it's one of those 80s, I think it's from the same studio or some of the producers that did The Reanimator. So It has a thing where they throw a lot into like a few scenes, and this is at the end of the movie, and like real-time effects that are like so gory and fucking weird that it's worth seeing just for that. So like if you're a horror fan,
Human Centipede,
like Beyond the Reanimator, like really like crazy real effects with
like Hellraiser.
Yeah, like that kind of stuff. Yeah. And
Hellraiser's still terrible to watch. Yeah. I can't even watch those movies. They're just so violent.
This is violent, but it's kind of gross out gore with humor to it. A lot of sweaty, gory looking body pulling, tearing stuff. Sweaty. There's this technique where they're trying to remove.
I'm good.
All right, I'll stop there.
Good.
All right, but yeah, it gets pretty gory. It's very interesting. Look at like this forgotten horror movie. I know most of us like revisit the big slashers, Jason, Nightmare on Elm Street, shit like that. But some of these movies kind of fell through, and I think it's very interesting. Like I said, it's on Kanopy, Kanopy. Get a library card, get Kanopy. But yeah, it was worth checking.
Get a library card, bitch. Go be smart.
It's worth checking out if you're interested in that kind of stuff. I can't say it's like a great film, but I found it very interesting.
Okay. All right. I don't know how much I want to see the sweaty, pulling, burning, twisting, mushy mess, but maybe on the right day where I haven't eaten anything, maybe I'll check it out.
Yeah.
So Netflix is going balls to the wall with all the old action, comedy, anything, Bruce Willis, and just everything. There's The Last Boy Scout, every fucking movie you can think of from the 90s with like action and or comedy is being popped on there right now. So I think I might get in that kick and you'll see me watching a lot of that stuff just because, I don't know, super, super good time. So I saw Loaded Weapon, which was done by National Lampoons, and it was a spoof of Lethal Weapon, of course, starring the best Emilio Estevez and his partner, Samuel L. Jackson.
Which, if I could cut in real quick, it's crazy that they spoof just like one movie mainly. It's like, not such a genre. It says they spoof some other commercials and little movies, but it's almost exclusively a spoof of Lethal Weapon.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. And it's because Lethal Weapon was so big. It's not the dumbest idea to make a hilarious movie based on one of the largest action franchises that probably came out in that time frame.
True, but a movie that was funny in its own right.
Absolutely. Yeah, all of the jokes just hit so well from start to finish. Everything is so dramatized and ridiculous. It's just so good. Look for every single sign and every little thing, and you will find so much more than you could probably have remembered seeing in this movie for just classic little jokes that were just thrown in all over the place. And with Tim Curry, John Lovitz with blonde hair looking retarded, it's all in all just a fun classic comedy watch, and I wonder why we can't, recapture that kind of humor, and where it's like it's still spoofy, but it's also literal and quick and still a little smart in the ways they do things. It's just not all fart jokes and shenanigans. I think that kind of humor is missed, where we need to write smarter scripts and then just match with really vivid images and bring some of these metaphors to life, because the shit's hilarious.
Yeah, dude, that's a good point. I wonder if maybe just like YouTube and internet videos have taken that mantle. It usually takes like one big film, like a Spaceballs, or like I don't know the order of Hot Shots or Loaded Weapon, but that was like another era
so they
of it.
In the movies, like, hey, remember when you were in Hot Shots?
Oh, nice. It's very self-referential, yeah. And then Scary Movie. Remember Scary Movie, and then Not Another Teen Movie, and then there's so many epic movies.
Yeah,
and
that's kind of, I think, where it went downhill almost is after the Wayans brothers, moved on from the Scary Movie stuff, and they tried all these other types of spoofs. A couple of them were okay, but for the most part, just seemed like no effort or real heart was put into the script, and it was a lot more just visual stupidity and things and gag type humor that I don't know. But
you know what I think it is, dude, is like the people that would do that now, the writers, are guys like Jody Hill, who does like Vice Principals and Righteous Gemstones, like that have that talent.
Right.
They want to like lean into the seriousness and like slide over the drama and the seriousness and mix it that way, where these are just all silly, goofy, and with a little bit of action. It's that, and I had another example in my head, but I lost it. I think that's what it is. It's like that's the thing to do now. That's what people are interested in doing. Like fuck with the genre more by making you actually care about these characters and have dramatic moments in this over the top kind of comedy.
Yeah, and that's definitely, we've enjoyed all that work. So I guess it's there in a way, but I don't know. It just seems like on the mass franchise scale of, because I'm sure this was huge in its time.
Yeah.
And all those, like Naked Weapon, I mean, how good was Leslie Nielsen? And
Naked Gun was great. That and Airplane.
Naked Gun, I'm sorry. Yeah, all of that shit. Was just some of the best movies that you could ever watch for hilarious, just quick jokes all the time, just dropping bomb after bomb of funny little trinkets.
Yeah, and I think the other thing is the type of actor. Another show I was thinking of was Barry, like that's that kind of thing. Like they just make it super serious. Yeah, interesting. It was directed by and I love. It's called Loaded Weapon 1. Like just assuming there's going to be a sequel. Directed by Gene Quintano, who only directed 4 other films. Nothing you to really recognize, but did write Sudden Death, which is a very serious genre.
Oh my god, I love Sudden Death, dude. It's like my favorite Van Damme movie ever. And
then also Police Academy 3, 4, or 5.
I think also though, what was it? The Last Warrior or something. It was one where The Quest. That's what it was. The Quest. Mm-hmm. That was also super solid. I love me some Van Damme.
Yeah. So, like, if you're in the mood for something, I mean, we all love Samuel L. Jackson, and I think a lot of people don't really appreciate how big Emilio Estevez was in the 80s. Like, yeah, it's a good slapstick comedy, right?
It is. Tim Curry shows up in a Girl Scout outfit in, like, the first, 5 minutes of the movie with Whoopi Goldberg, and her hair is so ridiculous. Man, definitely. Check this out if you just want to sit there and laugh over something a little silly.
Yeah, I agree. Just from my memory, but I trust your opinion on that one. So I ventured out to the theaters a couple times for this podcast. The theaters. And I saw one of my most anticipated movies of this year, The Lighthouse. This is a black and white film directed by Robert Eggers, who did The Witch.
Eggers!
Yeah, did The Witch a few years back, which was one of my favorite movies that year. And this is a black and white film.
The Witch?
Yeah. The Vivivich. I just call it The Witch to be simple, but you tend to
take things literally.
And the aspect ratio in this is 1:19:1, in which that means it has black bars on the sides of it, which was a nice little trick to takes place on an island on a rock in a lighthouse, so it adds to the element of being trapped, of being stuck on this island, and God, I am like brain dead today. What's the phenomenon where you
what? Amnesia?
Where you're like confined in a small space.
Wait, a phenomenon? Do you mean phobia?
Yeah, the phobia.
Oh, claustrophobic?
Claustrophobic, yeah, thank you. Amnesia is what I have.
We phenomenon?
Josh, get inside my head and tell me what I'm trying to think of. Anyways, so this is described as a hypnotic check and hallucinatory tale check of two lighthouse keepers on a remote and mysterious New England island. Check in the 1890s. Starring Willem Dafoe, Robert Pattinson, and there is one other cast member. It's kind of a spoiler, so don't give it up. But it's
you just spoiled it, kind of.
There's three people on the entire cast. It's very confined. It's a great movie. The performances and the quotes. It's fucking.
Am I gonna start talking like this?
You don't. You will try to talk like Willem Dafoe. That is a bold prediction and an absolute what is going to happen. But
am I going?
It's just a good look at like paranoia and just like how men deal with other men in the workplace or just in general, like men bonding, masculinity, all the dumb parts about it, and these two guys working together and the highs and lows of them, having to deal with each other and losing track of time and losing trust and gaining trust in each other. And
this is very similar to the Jerry Butts Lighthouse movie I watched. And I'm only saying in the sense of that exact type of concept, obviously shot and story told differently, but that concept of three men and a lighthouse and some fucked up shit. Just FYI.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, this was very well done. It was thrilling, suspenseful. It had that element that I love in movies where I'm like, is this really happening? Is this person paranoid? Is this supernatural? Like, a lot of that shit comes up. It had me on the edge of my seat. I fucking love, like, every second of this movie. It's, like, 5 stars. Might be my favorite film of the year right now.
Stop prematurely ejaculating your favorite film.
I think it is. Well, I like to update my number one spot throughout the year, and then I'll go back and rewatch everything, which is great.
Do your other movies get pissed off when they get put in number 2 and they're like, I'm not your number 1, Frank?
No, like 5 of my Facebook friends argue with me, and it's fun. That's why I do it. I do it for them. And
you should really fuck with them one day and just put like Devil Wears Prada number 1.
I've done stuff like that. I forget the film. Paddington 2 last year. I love that movie. Anyways, The Lighthouse is great. If it's in theaters near you, definitely check it out. It's something that, like most movies, is enhanced by seeing it on a big screen. And Josh, you need to check it out because you're going to fucking love it, dude. It's so great. Every time I've seen Robert Pattinson, I've loved him more and more as an actor. And Willem Dafoe is just like
even
a treasure.
Even in Twilight?
Well, that's where I started. I started low, and then he got better each time.
Well, there's nowhere to go but up from the bottom, my friend.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe someday. I haven't succumbed to the Robert Pattinson yet. I'm just not there.
You should just watch good movies. He's not like, I get it. I mean, you could say you didn't like Twilight, but I don't think he's that unlikable of an actor. You have to avoid his movies.
I don't particularly avoid them. They just don't end up in my life.
Fair enough. This one should.
Okay. This is one that Willem Dafoe pretty much can ex-nay a lot of actors that I would not watch, which isn't even that many. I don't think I particularly ever go, oh, fuck, this asshole's in that movie. Let me not watch this. But usually the storylines or I read a summarized something, a blurb, a plot. I'm like, that just does not seem interesting.
Yeah, and he's usually a scene stealer. But, when you have a independent movie like this, take a guy like Willem Dafoe and, use his talents to lead a movie, and he's fucking awesome in it.
He could pretty much just be on screen for an hour and a half, and most people would buy that ticket. And he said one word, it's just like, fuck.
That's what this is. He says like 50 words, but yeah, that's what this is.
Okay, so then they got you. All right, no, but I'll check it out, and I'll probably do a light touch on it just to either agree or disagree, and or see if maybe I was wishy-washy. Who knows? No one knows what I'm going to feel. Frank.
Fair enough. Tell us your thoughts and feelings on The King.
The King, another new Netflix release. Surprise, bitches. Netflix.
I think this one was anticipated, but I like what you're doing there.
Okay. So this is the story about how a wayward prince and the heir to the English throne and is crowned King Henry V after his tyrannical father dies. And now he must navigate the palace politics, the war that his father left, and just a bunch of other extenuating circumstances with going from a drunk to the King of England. I think the story itself is very well told, well shot, well executed. There is a couple of penis haircuts, but that's for the time. What are you going to do?
Oh, okay. You mean haircuts that look like helmet heads?
Look, we've been through this before. And last time I said it when I saw the Chris Pine, the King of Scotland movie, and I was like, there's penis haircuts, man. You knew he was the bad guy. And he's like, what, his haircut on his penis? I'm like, no, dude, his head is shaped like a haircut penis.
Yeah, so it's like it's like bangs all the way around. It's like a bowl cut.
Yeah, exactly. It's super shaved up where it specifically looks like someone circumcised their head.
Sidebar, anyways. Mark Zuckerberg has a haircut like that because apparently he idolizes Julius Caesar.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, E2, Brutus. Anyways, so this movie stars, one of the reasons why I watched it, Joel Edgerton, who... I don't know if you're aware how much I love him.
Oh, I know. I was going to bring it up. He also co-wrote it.
Yeah, so he can write whatever he wants as long as he puts his dreamy blue eyes in there. He's always putting on great character performances, and I like his role as the advisor in the sense where he was the only drunken friend that this man had, and his friend left for the kingdom and eventually was lost beyond deceit of those around him trying to plague him with lies and shenanigans. That's exactly what he said. He's like, you are plaguing me with shenanigans.
You sound very Chalamet-esque, and I love me some Timothy Chalamet.
Okay. So all in all, I think the scenes were gritty and dark, and the story was well told, and the script seemed very... the conversations were very well put together.
Okay.
And I think it's definitely... a watch for me and a thumbs up for sure. I think I rewatch maybe at some point. I wasn't that deeply in love, but for a historical fictional reference movie, I think people that will like those types of storylines will find this definitely interesting and see this character develop as he faces all of these different challenges. And I think it's definitely worth the watch. Out of a lot of the garbage that gets released, this is not a bad one.
Top of the garbage heap. So out of this, Guy Ritchie's King Arthur, Outlaw/King with Chris Pine, which one's the best? Rank them.
I'm sorry, what?
Out of this movie, The King on Netflix, Outlaw/King, the Chris Pine movie, and Guy Ritchie's King Arthur, which one is the best?
I don't feel like I remember King Arthur.
Okay.
I only remember those two currently that are named. Who was the better king?
What was better movie?
Better movie.
Yeah.
Man.
I didn't expect it to be that much of a thinker.
It kind of is. If you were to, I don't know.
It's close enough, though. Okay, so close enough.
I would say it's competitive, and okay. I think they're both solid. Did you watch that Chris Pine one?
I did. If you remember, the first time I watched it on Edibles, and I did not remember any of it, but I was laughing and having a great time. Okay. And the second time, I was like, yeah, it's pretty good.
And so you enjoy that, so I think you would as well enjoy this. And I think the story's well told enough that it'll hold your captivity.
Yeah, because that 2 hour, 20-minute runtime, that
wasn't
that
me. Bad.
That scares me. It's long.
Wasn't too bad.
You gotta learn how
maybe a couple parts draw out,
yeah,
just like anything else, but solid watch and visually well done.
Cool. I checked out Lake Mungo. Did we talk about Lake Mungo?
I don't know. It's a Mungo lake.
Okay, no, we didn't. A couple guys at my work brought this one up, and then I just saw things about it online. It popped up on a lot of those like horror movies you haven't seen yet on your streaming service, like all those lists that come out around Halloween.
Right next to Dirk Gently.
You'll kind of notice we held over Dolemite because we were waiting for you to watch it, but everything I've watched pretty much this week has been horror. It's been horror or sci-fi. It's kind of been the trend. I've noticed I've kind of leaned more to horror and sci-fi the past couple of years. They're just more interesting for me. This Lake Mungo movie was, do you remember, and we'll bring up Blockbuster, remember that series where it was like 8 films to die for? The Film Fest movies would come towards the beginning of fall. We would get like those little collections of horror movies. They'd have like the little graphic on the side of them.
I remember like the blue barrier.
Yeah. Yes.
And
yes.
Yeah, I do. It was kind of before American Horror Story existed. It was like what they did.
Yeah, exactly.
They would release these weird story movie type things. Does that sound right?
Yeah, and Showtime did like Masters of Horror. It became like a thing, and they weren't
Masters of Horror. Yeah, I remember that too.
Yeah, they weren't connected, but they just came out as with a branding over them. They're all from different directors about different things, like Black Mirror or stuff like that. So this is from 2008. It's kind of gone unknown, and no one really cared about it.
Mungo.
Yeah, but it's been rediscovered on streaming services, and this one's on Amazon Prime. It is a mockumentary, and I don't want to fool anyone, but this is a cool movie if you want to put on for your friends and see how long until you even suspect that this is real or not, like how it's done. It's about strange things that take place around this girl being found drowned in a lake in a small town. And it's shot like a documentary. It's done really well. They find these people that are good actors, but also are very convincing as just the kind of people that would participate in a documentary like this. And the whole thing, it's very hard to talk around and spoil, but it's a good drama. If you're a fan of horror movies, ghost movies, and like true crime, real crime stuff, which a lot of people are, a lot of people cross over in both of those, I think you'll really dig it. I enjoyed it a lot. I think it's a nice little hidden gem that is like 10 years old now, 11 years old, that I went undiscovered. And if you guys are still in the mood for some horror movies, I want to stretch out that, I think we've all watched a little bit more around Halloween. Check this one out. It's only 90 minutes too, which is really cool for me. If you're like me and you want to squeeze in 2 movies in one night, but Lake Mungo, definitely check it out.
Just squeeze them.
Yeah.
Make sure you squeeze them, Frank.
Squeeze the juice.
Did you squeeze?
Yes.
Okay, good. So I watched another random throw up from back in the day that this was actually still holds as one of my higher regarded movies that I could watch at any time, kind of like a Shawshank Redemption for me.
A rewatchable.
Oh, extremely. This is called Fallen. It was 1998 back in the day, and Denzel at his finest, still doing his thing, alongside his partner in crime, John Goodman. And actually, when I say crime, they're actually detectives. So this is about a homicide detective, John Hobbs, who witnesses the execution of a serial killer named Edgar Reese. And soon after the execution, something a little bit beyond the realm of current reality happens. I don't want to get too far into it, but the Rolling Stones song Time is used so well in this movie, and it's somewhat terrifying at points. The way it's kind of brought in. I don't want to get too deep, but this story is super amazing. It's really gripping. Stars some other great people like James Gandolfini and Donald Sutherland. And it's a story about this detective that's trying to help this woman, and some things that are happening that just are very tough to explain, and his life starts to fall apart. And it's just, I don't want to get too deep, but if you haven't seen Fallen, it's on Netflix now. It's a classic fucking movie. Definitely check it out. It is well worth it.
Yeah, it's like a sentimental one for me because my mom always liked this movie, and
my mom liked this movie too.
I dismissed it as a like a wannabe 7 at the time because it came out like a year or 2 after.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, I think it was, for me personally, was when I like first noticed John Goodman as a really good dramatic actor because I only knew.
Oh
him.
Yeah, he was. So
we were
good.
Teenagers, we only knew him from like the Roseanne show.
Right. Very true. Very true. And I think he held a really amazing, versatile role. Let's say.
Cool. So I started to transition from watching Lake Mungo's like just a random pick, but I was watching like 70s and 80s horror movies last 2 weeks, and then I just started picking up some interesting like foreign stuff, some horror movies from around the world, and I was just randomly going through lists, and I saw some really good reviews for this film called Demon. It's a Polish horror drama centered in a wedding setting, and it's from 2015. It's available on Kanopy and Amazon Prime. And the plot line is about a bridegroom, which is what they call a groom, just a groom in Poland. I don't know. A groom.
Is it a broom?
Yeah, just a groom. He's a groom.
A broom.
Total groom. No.
A broom with a B.
Nah, a groom with a G. And he's possessed by an unquiet spirit in the midst of his own wedding celebration in this clever take on the Jewish legend of Dybbuk, which is like a body snatcher. It's a spirit that like has like unfinished business or whatever, and it's they find some bones. They may or may not find some bones like on this setting, and this guy becomes possessed, and as he's being possessed by this spirit, the family, because he's an outsider visiting this land, he's going to inherit this house, try to like keep the wedding going. So you have like this wedding drama and this like possession movie going on at the same time. It's very well acted, great direction, and it has that thing with foreign horror movies where because you don't recognize the actors or the setting, I think it adds a little more creep and mystery to it because everything is so unfamiliar besides the wedding setting itself. I just love this movie. I thought it went in a bunch of interesting directions, always kept me guessing and interested throughout. And another one I'd really highly recommend. I've been looking out lately, watching a lot of stuff that has been really good. And this is one of those.
Okay, fair enough. I haven't watched anything lately that I super fucking hated.
That's good too, man.
That's some wins. I would say some of these were definitely wins. Dolemite, The King, some good rewatches there. I just think it's good. It's good. We're doing good. Doing good things.
Sometimes it's tough to find anything good to watch, but lately it seems like things are picking up.
Yeah, the stream is rolling. See what I did there? Okay. So guess what I watched next on what streaming service, Frank? Just guess. But seriously, you only get one guess.
Okay.
And you can't have any other guesses. And if you take a second guess, I'm going to lop your dick off.
Well, I picture your remote has a giant red Netflix button on it. That's all it does. There's a power button, maybe volume control, and a red Netflix button. It's like a remote
it's through the Xbox.
It's like those toddler plastic phones that has like 4 buttons.
3 buttons. Yeah. It's also waterproof, and it also makes a shaking sound.
What's your cat's name?
Peach.
Yeah, you're like, Peach, stand on the Netflix button. You don't even like get up. Come on, Peach, do it for Daddy. And he walks over the remote, and boom.
It's a she, and no, she would never do that because she's a princess.
Okay, Princess Peach, I get it. Tell us about Paradise PD.
Also found on what service, Rank?
Netflix.
Which one?
Netflix.
Oh, okay. This is an animated series that I've seen on there for a while and never took the time to watch, and I'm happy that I did. I wasn't familiar with who was behind some of these voices and characters, and it's some people that you will recognize. Sarah Chalk plays Gina Jabowski, one of the cops. There's about 4 or 5 cops and a talking dog. Crazy, right? These talking dogs, why do we find that so regular nowadays? Like, dogs are just allowed to talk. What the fuck's that about? Anyways, but this talking dog is played by Kyle Kinane.
Oh, I know you love him. Yeah. He's got a good voice. He's good. It's a good pick for an animated dog, especially.
Yeah, they had quite a few people in there. Tom Kenny, Dana Snyder, who you may know as Master Shake.
Oh, nice.
From Aqua Teen.
My favorite of the Hunger Force.
Yeah. Now, the what now? If you need candy, then you want candy. And when you need something, that's a responsibility, I think.
God damn it. I walked right into an impression.
Hey, meat man. What are you doing over there? All right, I'm done.
Hi. Well, you probably hit fast forward twice on your pod player. And
you rewound that shit, and you're like, that's not too bad. And fuck Frank for his terrible opinion.
You made it.
Anyways... Paradise PD. It's a ridiculous cop show with some really wacky, insane situations, and it's just a fun watch. But while I'm bringing up this one, also, if you haven't seen it, I think it's on either TBS, TNT, ABC, I don't fucking know. One of those 3 letters. Final Space, I don't know if you've heard of that.
I'll look it up while you talk about Paradise PD.
Well, Paradise PD, it's just a solid, wacky adult humor show. Definitely not recommended for children in any format of the world. Things get very adult, like the kid fucks a car. That kid will fuck anything.
Okay, you had me at car fucking kids.
Yeah, car fucking kids. But a show that came out a while ago that I kind of fell onto that was more kid friendly and just cute and funny was it is on TBS. Yeah, suck it.
Final Space?
Yeah.
I see it as Adult Swim and Fubo, whatever that is. Fubo.
Huh. I guess it's on a lot of things. Mm-hmm. Well, you can watch it fucking anywhere. Anyways, it's about an astronaut named Gary and his planet-destroying sidekick called Mooncake. And Mooncake just makes like one sound. It's like, chicken, like, chicken.
You're simultaneously reviewing this now and Paradise PD, right?
I am, because they're both animated shows that are animated. Fuck you.
Bro, you just split my brain.
I don't care. I'm just going to split your brain into Final Space, bitch. It's a really fun space show that has this adorable main character that is just the cutest damn thing on Earth. Like, if I could have a mooncake, I'd be happy. And it's not the snack mooncake. It's this mooncake.
That's moon pie. Okay.
Yeah.
City Slicker.
A pie is a fucking cake, bitch.
We're not going to get into this right now. Let's stick to movies.
So anyways, I recommend both these animated shows. Final Space is a little bit more family friendly, and and of course Paradise PD is a little bit more out there and adult with some raunchy shit going on.
Cool. So double recommendations, and actually one of them was not on Netflix.
Yeah, suck it.
Thank you. I don't know why I thanked you there. So I watched this Iranian vampire movie on Kanopy.
That sounds fucking weird.
Yeah. It's called A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night. A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night. It's also on Hoopla and Kanopy. Free streaming services. You get with your library card if you're lucky.
Oh.
I thought this movie from its poster was animated for the longest time. It always stood out like when I'm scrolling through stuff on a streaming app, because it's like a black charcoal type painting looking thing on a red background.
Okay.
Anyways, it's a black and white film, live action, and it has a really good dramatic story on top of being a creepy vampire movie, and very effective at that, about a drug addicted father, his son, and the drug dealer bully of the neighborhood who, steals this kid's car that he seemingly worked really hard to earn. And the thing I like about this movie, what I love about this movie, is that that story alone is so good. You don't even need the horror element, but the horror element is really effective. And it's this young lady who walks the night by herself in a hijab, which is,
it's a girl who walks home alone at night.
You got it. And her stare and the atmosphere the filmmaker creates are timelessly fucking creepy, dude. It's one of those movies that could be from any time and place, and it just works. It works so well. There's a bit of romance and drama in it. I love this movie. I saw it the Saturday night last week where we got the extra hour for daylight savings time. And I was getting pretty tired. Bullshit. Yeah, it was bullshit. That's for our third podcast. We have the Pie versus Cake podcast coming up, and then Daylight Savings. Why do we need it? Podcast.
We have spin-offs.
Yeah, we're spinning off soon. But no, man.
I'm going to do my own thing, Frank.
I watched about
cake and cheese.
I watched about an hour of this movie, and I was like, I'm gonna go to bed. It's late, and then I had to get up and finish it because it's so fucking good. And That's weird. No hyperball, dude. It is one of my favorite movies of all time. I love this movie. This and Lighthouse, 5 out of 5, amazing movies.
Man, got hyper balls.
Yeah, I've just been on a run of checking out really cool shit and lucking out. And sometimes just take a risk. If you limit yourself and you don't watch black and white movies or foreign movies with subtitles,
or Dirk
Gently, one, you're an asshole, and two, you're really missing out. So this movie's from 2013 or 14, just fucking great. It's not a silent film, obviously, but it's close to it. There's not a lot, but just charming characters, great performances, great look, and just these young actors I've never seen before in my life doing so much just with facial expressions and subtle performances.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, Frank, you're going to suck the dick of the next movie as well.
Yeah, or lick its butthole.
Yeah.
Pinch its nipples.
A little foreplay. Yeah. Come on. Just touch it. Just a little bit.
Gender movies.
Don't be gross.
Weird.
Don't be gross. Just do it. Don't think. Just do it.
Okay. So I will suffer through this harassment and finish this podcast talking about Parasite.
That just got me too.
Yeah. Parasite's from the director John Ho Bong, who also did Snowpiercer, which I know we're both huge fans of. And
I actually rewatched that recently.
Yeah, and like Snowpiercer, this movie is about, class system and society, a lot of social issues and capitalism. And this is about an all unemployed family takes a peculiar interest in this wealthy and glamorous family, and their livelihood, and they get entangled in this unexpected incident. And I don't want to spoil too much, but basically this family is poor, very clever, and they find a way to make themselves of value for this rich family. So they can, they live in this house that is like a basement house. They're like, very poor. They're struggling for meals, but they're smart. They're clever, and it does a really good job of showing the dynamic of the poor family and the rich family in a very neutral way. Like the movie allows you to come to your own conclusions because neither side is innocent in this. And the twists and turns this movie goes, it reminds me of like a Jordan Peele type movie, like a Get Out or Us, like that kind of social commentary that's very stylistic too. And the movie center in the two households and the way they're shot, and they use the houses to tell the story, I thought was really brilliant. And there's another one, just like Lighthouse, it's very limited in theaters that you should support. This was a contender for one of my favorite films of the year. And again, I don't want to, these movies have such good twists that I don't want to give anything away, but just great performances. I sat down. I had no idea really what to expect because I just heard good things about it, and I saw who it was directed from, and I said, I'm going to go see this movie. And if you trust us, just go into these movies when we try to hold back and just
What's this trust us shit? I didn't say nothing. You trust Frank on this.
You'll do the same thing. When you're excited about a movie, you don't want to give away anything.
That's true.
But yeah, Parasite, fantastic. Worth the $15 movie ticket. Please go see it. Support stuff like this so we get more cool shit like it.
Oh, okay.
All right. That's all we have for what we watched this week. I have what we will probably watch next week.
That's a terrible title for that fucking segment.
What we will watch.
What we might do or we might not do, but go fuck yourself.
Yeah, pretty much, because I have a lot to catch up on. It's because I saw all these movies, and then I'm catching up on Watchmen and Mr. Robot.
You're catching up on Watchmen throughout the shows?
Yeah, throughout the week. I'm trying to stay current on those because there's so much internet chatter. I don't want to get spoiled. And then also, watching a lot of football and finishing Twin Peaks.
Fuck you and all your TV shows.
Thanks, man. Thanks for the support.
Oh, because you don't watch my TV shows, Frank. You don't watch my TV shows.
Suck it up. What are you going to watch next week?
I'm going to watch The Laundromat finally. Which, guess what it's on, Frank? I don't know if you know.
It's got to be fucking Netflix.
Yeah, but it's got Gary Oldman and Antonio Banderas and Meryl Streep, so suck it. I mean, God damn it. I don't care what service that movie would be on. They could have called it The Big Ball of Shit, and I would still check it out because that's a pretty amazing fucking lineup.
You do fall for a good cast. Celebrity voices or celebrities in person. You just love it. You're a sucker.
I am a sucker. If you pay enough people money that I like and put them in a movie, you're likely to get my money.
You just described how some people look at movie making. and not much further than that, unfortunately.
Yeah. And
I like to watch movies with people I have no idea who they are and I have no idea what the movie's about.
I don't mind doing that either, but damn it, some people just like.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, it's good catching
what
up.
What else am I going to watch?
Oh, he's thinking on the fly. This could take a while, folks.
It could. I felt like I had a few things.
Yeah, save it for next episode. Surprise us.
Yeah,
we don't need any more.
I'll probably just be lying anyway.
We don't need to subject these people to any more dead air. Thanks for listening. How about this? Two podcasts in 2 weeks or 3 podcasts in 3 weeks?
Probably not 3 weeks.
One more. It's a podcast streak. It has happened before. It can happen again. Josh, say something nice to the people.
I love all of your nice comments that I never see.
All right, get some sleep.
You're still here? It's over. Go home. Go.